Welcome back to another episode of Manifest with Markesha. Y'all already know what it is. This is the space where mindsets are challenged, limitations are broken, and transformation begins. It is truly my passion and privilege to help you elevate your self-concept, release what no longer serves you, and step fully into the highest version of yourself. And I do this by helping you have an empowered mind so that you can transform your life from the inside out. Without further ado, today we're getting into a topic I know many of us feel but don't always say aloud. And that is, why does healing hurt so much? Listen, we expect or sometimes expect healing to feel good. We sometimes expect it to be peaceful, easy, and maybe even pretty. But let's be real. What happens when it feels like it's going through the fire? That process that feels crushing. Let's talk about it a little bit more. I don't know why there is this myth wrapped around healing. It's this feel good healing mindset. Healing is actually somewhat glorified in today's world. And I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. We want healing for sure. But y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all have seen it before. You see the reels with the soft music, the candles, the spas, the yoga, the self-care Sundays. Listen, do not get me wrong. I'm for all that. And there is definitely a time and a place for each one of those things. But that real healing, it ain't that. Real healing, that inner transformation, it does not always feel like light or love. Most of the time, when you're going through that transformation, it feels like loss, like chaos. It feels like a breakdown. There's a reason for the breakdown. But no, I want you to know it's not to destroy you. You see, before healing brings your peace, it must first bring awareness. And that awareness, it stings. It stings because you start to see yourself clearly. You start confronting the pain that you once buried, and you realize healing isn't a vibe, but that it's a whole process. I will tell you that the healing process is no joke. It begins to touch layers of pain that you never thought you had, or at least you suppressed. So I will tell you right now, be warned. If you love your comfort and you don't like being uncomfortable, then you need to go ahead and turn this off because this ain't for you. This journey of self-discovery transformation is not for the faint-hearted, okay? When healing starts, everything you thought you knew begins to be unraveled. Everything you thought you tucked away, that begins to resurface. All your old wounds, your childhood trauma, you go through ego death, you got spiritual confusion that starts happening. You begin to unravel in ways you never ever thought. You begin to unravel who you thought you were. You begin to unravel who your parents said you had to be, who your friends expected you to stay, who society covertly trained you to become. All of a sudden, your whole identity starts to shift. And it truly feels like the ground is moving beneath you and no one else notices but you. This healing process, it reminds me of the Matrix, the movie The Matrix. If you've seen it, if you know, you know. If not, follow along. In the movie, Morpheus, he was a guide. He was like a spiritual teacher. And he offers Neo, who was under him, being trained under him, 2 different pills. He sits him down and he tells him, you take the blue pill, the story ends. You wake up in bed, believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep this rabbit hole goes. See, This is what healing feels like. It's like that red pill moment. For those who decide to stay asleep, they don't want to go through the transformative process. They don't want to endure the discomfort of realizing and unraveling the old versions of themselves. They're going to take that blue pill. They're going to go back to sleep. But for those who are embarking on this journey to be the best and highest version of themselves, they're going to take that real red pill. You're going to come out of the matrix. And honestly, once you take the red pill, figuratively speaking, that's where your awareness comes in. And it's hard to go back to sleep after that. You see everything differently. You start to see yourself, your past, your present, your patterns, your friends, your family. Everything begins to hit differently. Because what used to define you no longer aligns with you. And this is a disorienting feeling for sure. But it's also the beginning of freedom, true freedom. And the realignment, that's the part that hurts. It stings to admit you settled for less than you were worthy of. It's humbling to see the version of you who's just been surviving. And that surviving version of you was never meant to thrive. But hear me. This discomfort you're feeling or have felt or will feel, the ache in your chest when this truth hits, it's not punishment, it's purpose. It's not here to break you. I promise, it's here to build you. You see, the breakdown is just as important as in the healing process as the buildup. And you might be asking yourself, how do I hold myself together through all that hurt? What am I really supposed to do when the healing hurts? And I'm going to tell you, first and foremost, don't shame yourself. Give yourself some grace and compassion. You don't have to hide. Just hold yourself through it. We've been so conditioned to perform, to put on a smile when we're breaking inside, to play the strong one, the perfect one, the unbothered one. We've been wearing masks for so long, we forgot what it means to just be real. We've learned how to stay in character, even when the scene we're in is breaking us. But in your healing invites you to drop the role, to take the mask off, to show up, not as a polished version of yourself, but as an honest one on your way to the better version of you. You got to remember, every day doesn't feel good, and that's real. Some days, healing feels like journaling through tears. On other days, you got to write a note to yourself or record something for yourself and say it out loud and hear you say it back to yourself. Sometimes you got to take naps or take walks, do whatever you need to do to bring yourself into a silent, sacred place, so to speak. That silence becomes your sanctuary. But whatever you need to do for you, go ahead and do it. And don't worry about it being messy. Let it be real. Let's begin to normalize being okay with not being okay. Because we have to understand it's all a process. You can also realize you don't have to heal in silence. Remember, society is conditioning you to believe that you're supposed to have it together all the time, and that's just not honest. That's just not real. You don't have to pretend you're okay. The beautiful thing about healing out loud is that you give others permission to do the same. You let them know that it ain't all about being perfect for that picture perfect moment, but I'm hurting right now. I'm a human being, and it's okay to feel my feelings. Even though healing hurts, I'm going to always encourage a shift in perspective, because the proper perspective is powerful. And if you change how you look at things, what you look at changes. So look at hurt as a sign of shifting. If you're hurting right now, it's not because you're broken. It's because you're changing. If you're aching, just know that's your soul stretching. That discomfort is divine rearrangement. So next time you ask yourself, why does healing hurt so much? Know that it's not punishment, it's preparation. You're not breaking down, you're breaking through. So guys, that's all I have for now. If this episode put into words what you might be feeling and what you haven't verbalized, drop a comment and share it with someone else, because you never know how your pain can be a light for someone else who's walking through their own healing journey. And as always, don't forget, like, subscribe, and show up for your soul. Until next time, keep pressing, keep rising, keep manifesting.